I definitely feel like there's some gaps in the industry, and it's not necessarily that like all advisors are bad. I believe that most advisors want to do what's right for you, but the real problem is the business model that most advisors and really big firms have. And it doesn't incentivize the best interest for clients. They're more worried about having sales quotas and pushing their products onto people. And so it's about aligning incentives. And so for me, I truly believe the value in an advisor has shifted over time, right? In the 80s, it was giving you access to the stock market. In the early 2000s, it was having somebody manage your entire portfolio. Today, the main value that a planner or an advisor can bring to you is the actual financial planning work. The investment management, while there's still value to be had, it's becoming so automated. I'm still giving you the best tools and the best investment management I view possible, but that allows me, because it's all automated, to spend more time with you as the client. And so what I see when I got into this industry, that most advisors at big firms are still set up in a business model where they only get paid to manage investments. And so people become frustrated that they're not getting true financial planning, but they're also not paying for it. And so that goes both ways. The client isn't paying for it. And so whatever they do get in financial planning, they view as free, and they don't put a lot of value on it or expectations on it, when that's the real value in working with somebody like me. And on the advisor side, they're not incentivized to do the planning work because their firm is pushing them. And the only way that they get compensated is by gathering more investments. So, the way that I'm structured, and I believe that the industry is headed, is to align the service that you ultimately want with what you're paying for. And what I mean by that is that you're going to pay for financial planning because it allows the planner to actually invest their time into it. And if you want to have them manage your investments, I believe the best way to do that is to have a separate fee, usually a discounted rate from the average, because that way you know exactly what service you're getting and you're paying for. And that's a big problem in the industry, that advisors charge 1.5%, and they say they give you true comprehensive financial planning. Some advisors do, but it doesn't make sense for the advisor to actually do that planning because they don't get paid for it.
That's insane. Like it, and it's wild because you're talking about people who really actually need help. And what is the first thing that you hear when somebody needs financial help? Go talk to a financial advisor.
Mhm.
Go sit down with someone. And what do? They go sit down with a traditional financial advisor, and there's this huge disconnect between what's in that advisor's head and what's in that person that actually needs help. Help's mind is that advisor is thinking, what can I sell this person, which is going to benefit me in my pocket, and and there's no intention of, hey, let me set out a plan or a course that's actually going to get you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And the person sitting across from that financial advisor has no clue. They're sitting down with them, actually thinking that this person is genuinely going to help them.
Yeah. And I think it's important to clarify, right? Not all advisors that receive commission are bad. I know plenty great ones, but it's very hard to tell which ones are the good ones. And I kind of believe this point. Trust, I don't believe, is good enough, because I know tons of people that have financial advisors because they've been friends with them their whole life, or they got referred to them by a friend. I don't think trust is good enough, because you can have trust in someone that doesn't have your best intentions at heart. And that's honestly what I see, is that people trust advisors, but they don't realize the conflicts of interest in the business model. And what I mean by that usually is like advisors at, especially in insurance companies, they're incentivized and in many cases almost required to sell certain products to stay in certain tiers. And so they have a financial incentive to sell you certain products. And for me, you could ultimately need that product. and there you need insurance. I don't not believe in insurance, right? I think it's a great thing that people need, but there's a natural conflict of interest, especially when we're talking about high commission products, between what somebody the trust element of, okay, if you trust somebody, is that good enough? If you know their conflicts of interest, you know exactly how they're getting paid, then sure, trust might be good enough. But I don't think trust alone is good enough anymore for the standard and the service models that are out there.
Okay, Josh, walk us through your Focus Future system and what are you building out in those first 5 weeks?
Yeah, so I like to call it the 5 week clarity sprint. So there's a lot that goes down basically. I'm taking the weight off of your shoulders, and so as you can imagine, I need a lot of information, documentation on your situation. But so that first meeting is me reviewing all of your documentation, but more importantly, we're starting to dive into your values and really your financial background. And I like to touch on financial flashpoints, so start to really understand, why do you think about money the way that you do? And usually there are some like key, as I call them, financial flashpoints or memories that made you think about money the way that you do. And so I've gone through the exercise personally multiple times, and it's really insightful. And that's kind of what I take clients through, so I can really get a background on for who you are and why you think about money the way that you do. In between that first and second meeting, I have you go through a values, visions, and goals framework to create some baseline for how we make decisions. And so that will tell us where you want to go. We understand where you're at, and now we can start to build the strategy to get you there. And so in that second meeting, we're starting to build the financial infrastructure, creating your cash flow automation system, creating your estate plan documents. And then in that third meeting, what I call the strategy session, that's where we get you to where you want to go, or at least start to develop a strategy there. And that could involve what insurances do we need to protect ourselves, what wealth drivers do we need to be looking at. It's very personal based on you. How hands-on do you want to be with your investments? And if there's any tax strategies that we can implement. In that fourth meeting is the financial plan presentation. So that's me diving into each of these six focus factors. So your life compass, financial management, protection, wealth builders, tax alpha, and estate planning. So basically, we're going to break down where you're at, where you want to go, and how we're going to get there in relation to each one. Then in that fifth meeting, I call it the implementation meeting. So now that you know my recommendations and laying everything out there, we can start to implement any recommendations or any changes that need to be implemented in your life. And then we move to a quarterly meeting structure. So these meetings have a set agenda. So we make sure that we cover everything on at least on an annual basis to make sure there's no gaps in your plan. Hey, real quick, if you're a high earning professional or business owner and found this video insightful, I created a quick scattered success scorecard. In about 2 minutes, you'll see how scattered your finances really are, the potential 10-year cost range, and which 2 or 3 areas are most likely leaking your money and mental energy right now. It's free. Link is in the description and bio. Go check it out.